Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Yes, I think everyone can see me. So very warm welcome to our YouTube subscribers who are joining us from YouTube and all the students who will be, in some time they will be joining us for this particular class. This is a very special class that we are doing where we will be deep diving into the loans domain. Okay. So in our community, we have several people who are from the banking domain. And we also have the presenter for today who's coming with a hardcore banking expertise. So Raghav today, who has been our diamond member, he has completed our capstone projects and he has gained good expertise in business analysis. And today he has used all of that expertise to bring to us a very important case study from the loans domain, where he will take you through the process step by step as a BA, wearing a BA's hat, how he has analyzed the manual process of the bank and looking at the end goals of the business, how he has articulated a solution and brought it down to a functional requirement level. So the key requirement that will be discussed in today's presentation is a loan performance dashboard. Okay. So let me quickly give you a background of this particular project, and then I will hand it on over to Raghav to make the presentation. So today's case study is about SwiftBank, which is a well-known bank that offers retail loan products such as personal loans, car loans, and home loans. Now, the loan disbursement process is something that we are going to discuss here. Like I said, it's going to focus on the lending domain, the loans domain. So the disbursement process currently involves a lot of team interaction, a lot of manual paperwork. And due to that, there are a lot of delays and a lot of human errors. Okay. So people who have already applied for loans, you know that there are different stages till the time your loan gets finally approved by the team. So there's a lot of KYC checks and other verifications that are done. So all of that takes a long time for the customers as per the current disbursement process, it takes a relatively longer time. So customers are found often complaining about even after the loan approval, 4 to 5 working days is actually required for the disbursal for the customer to get the loan. Okay. And there are no status updates. So customer, you can understand a customer literally gets annoyed because there's no way he can track which stage his loan is in. So the leadership wants to streamline this process and they want to create a loan disbursement module integrated with their core banking system. Okay. And this is going to be accessible via their branch operations portal, okay, which will be accessible only to the bank employees, obviously. So that's the brief about the case study that we are going to discuss today. I will hand it over to Raghav, who will deep dive into this case study and take you step by step and make you understand how, as a business analyst, you can add value to these kind of projects, how, as a business analyst, you can work jointly with the customer and understand his pain area and draft a solution that can address each of those pain areas and give him key benefits. Okay, so let me hand it over to Raghav here. Raghav, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Very warm wishes from my side to everyone. My name is Raghavendra, and I'm a student at Interactive Learning Solutions. So I am a member of a Diamond Batch, and I have recently completed my course with Sachna ma'am. So after the course, I have submitted all the learnings I had procured from the classes, and I gave my best efforts to put all the inputs into this project. So this is a project of process automation for a retail loan disbursement. So let me take you to a different scenario. Do you guys remember where there was a situation in the past decade where when you apply for a loan, you have to go back and forth carrying different set of documents. They call you again that saying that you're missing some document and you have to rush to the bank to submit the same. And the pain the customer had in that, and also it's not just about the customer who applies for the loan, it is also a pain for the employees who work for such bank. So considering that situation, the and also the technological developments happening around the business and this society, every organization has to step up their game in order to compete in the current scenario. So our client is SwiftBank, who is facing such situation at this moment. So as a business analysis team, we have gone through their existing process, identified where they are lacking, and also we did a gap analysis to address each areas where they are lacking and how it can be improvised to give a better solution to the customer. You might be thinking, what is the use of it? But let me get back to you. So once the process is streamlined, the staff has time. Even the higher management have enough time to focus on their focus more on their growth, their products, and also their reach in the business. It helps in focus on their making their strategies and improving their products. And also this also helps in bank being regulatory compliant with the RBI and other regulatories. So quickly, this is a short brief about what the bank is going through and what we are trying to make improvements in this aspect. Let me share my screen. I'll take you through the PPT where we have done our study for the bank. Okay. Hope you see my screen. Yes.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah. So as I already spoke, it's about the process automation for the retail loan disbursement for SwiftBank.
Mm.
The key areas where we have our discussion for today is the business problem that we are addressing and the gap analysis where we have identified the pain points and suggested the solutions for the same. Thereafter, we'll be moving to the as is process and to be process with solutions. Then we will be going through the stakeholder and handoffs and later with the functional requirements. Business problems. The business has, like I mentioned, as an example in in my previous conversation. So it's a lengthy process. It's heavily manual and it takes 4 to 5 days. Even even after the loan is approved, it takes 4 to 5 days to get the funds in the customer's account. So it has reluctantly slowed down the SLAs and it also frustrated the customer and it has grown a lot of frustration in the customer, and also the customer might not suggest the bank or does not come back when he is in need of the funds. So we have identified certain problems we have with the business, like the critical steps like the KYC verification, risk approvals, and other approvals relevant to the loan application are entirely manual. So it takes a lot of physical files to go through each process and a lot of emails. So let's say one of the employees changes the subject line of the email. So when they search for the application, it's really hard to find out where it is gone. Like it's hard to trace. The same happens with the files. If there is a document which is lost,
Mm.
that's a risk. That's a risk, and it's also a compliance issue. And if there is a uh, very uh, loosely handled documents, it can be misused as well. So these are the problems the bank is facing. And remind you again, it's a commonly grown issue where the customers have their trust issues about while submitting their identity documents, like they be it their Aadhaar card or PAN card or passport document. They always have this fear in their mind, like what if this is being misused. So we are also addressing the problem in this case study. And one more thing, we also know that every bank goes through the audit trials from the regulatories. Imagine all of a sudden there is an audit from the regulatory bodies and you have no idea where the files are. You're running through where this file is and there this document is, and you have no logs about when it was approved, when it was applied, when it was moved to the different department. You are in chaos situation, and this is not at all suggestible in the current scenario where we have such huge technological developments in the business of banking. So here we the leader once again, the banking leadership team has identified an urgent need addressing all this issue. They have addressed they need to automate and streamline the process through integrated loan disbursement module within the core banking system. Core banking system is the existing banking system the bank uses for their operations. So we are introducing a new module into the CBS system. So here is the gap analysis. There are a lot of areas where work has to be done and automation has to be done. I'll have a walk you through a few of these gaps. Like the current when I mentioned about the lot, like I've been mentioning about the documents and physical documents moving here and there, right? So that's the exact issue we have in the current process. There is a lot of physical documents transfer between the teams and often has delays. The client wants it to be faster going forward, and the client doesn't want any human errors like missing the files or misplacing the files or the documents. So the gap we identified here is the lack of digital flow. Nothing has been documented on a digital platform. So we proposed a digital documentation, and we integrated these documents with the CBS portal, the banking portal. And talking about the KYC, it's a big threat if someone applies for the loan with a fraudulent identity, right? So how are we gonna tackle this issue? Because there is a lot of possibility where they can just forge their authentication number or the name on the document and use someone's identity or use someone's photograph in case. So we have identified it's taking too much time to identify the errors, and also there's also a trust uh, inbuilt in the system. So the customer wanted it to be very instant, not taking too much time, and also reliable identity verification, which in short eradicates all the fraudulent activities in the bank. So for this, we have proposed Aadhaar-based eKYC using the government APIs. And then we have a lot of other aspects like risk approval, AML checks, status tracking. I would like to mention status tracking as one of the key gaps we identified, because in the current system, there is no status. Like once the customer applies for a loan, and he has no idea where his file has been stuck, like at what stage his file is there. He only gets an intimation if it is approved or not, or if it is approved, when he's going to get his funds. Otherwise, he has no idea where it is. And it's not just the issue for the customer, it is also an issue for the bank staff because they have no traceability. So we have proposed a live tracking dashboard where all the stakeholders with different views have their screens for tracking the loan application. It also benefits the client, the bank, in terms of improving the customer certification, and also it helps in tracking the reports and logs, the timestamps, which later are being helpful for the audit purpose. And customer notification, I already just mentioned about there is no notifications in interim the loan application. They have to wait until the entire process is done. So it's not gonna be the same case anymore, because every time there is a change in the application, or it's moving to the next step, they have a notification in their system, notification system in the system. The customer gets the notified where his file is currently being processed. And one more key aspect is data and consent. The customer does give the documents, but it doesn't give a consent to use elsewhere the same document. So the new proposed in this is also this the gap we identified is that there's a risk of leaking the data to external parties, which threatens both the banking system as well as the customer. So we have identified this gap, and also we proposed an encrypted data handling based on digital consent, which is e-signature and e-photograph. And also all the documents can be linked via APIs from PAN and Aadhaar. Let me take you through as is process. By looking at the picture, you see there's a lot of paperwork happening to process a loan, right? So that's what exactly happening here. Here is the swim lane for the process. The customer applies for a loan, submits, and it directly goes to the bank manager. And it's up to his idea, like it's up to his wish, like when he is going to pass it to the next process. And thereafter it's same followed by the other departments. It has to go through a lot of process, and every process doesn't have a SLA at this moment, because they are working on a physical document system. So once the branch manager receives the application, he transfers the application to the credit analyst team, where his credit and eligibility is being checked. Let's say if there is a positive news that the applicant has passed his credit test, then he moves to the KYC operations, and thereafter manual KYC verification is done. And also a risk, the file also moves to the risk department there, where the AML checks are done. And later the funds are moved for the disbursement. Here we have a key issue, like even after the approval for disbursement, it takes 24 to 48 hours in the current scenario for the funds to reach the customer. So we have studied the existing system, we identified the gaps and proposed a new system where we have automation using the technology in place, where we have built a different interface for the customer and the bank staff, where they have visibility via dashboards. So this is the proposed system for the bank, SwiftBank, for their retail loan disbursement process. So here we have automated. If you can see, there's a lot of process stamps on the system. By this, you get an idea that most of the activity is being done by the system. And also, if you see the KYC operations, it's no more paper-based, it's e-KYC now. So let me walk you through the process from the beginning. So when the customer applies for an application, remember we in the last slide, the application goes to the manager. Now there is no manager in place, so it directly goes to the credit team. They perform the eligibility test, like credit check, as in the CIBIL score is involved. If they get through these credit checks, it goes to the next level. Also, once the regardless of the credit check being yes or no, there is a loan module which is generated. It's an intimation that there is a application for the loan. And then once the credit check is done, it goes to the risk assessment like AML. You might be wondering what is risk and AML. So let me give me an example. What if you have a chance that you go to four banks in the same day? On the same day, you go to four different banks and apply for different loans. And if they don't have data where you are applying, how much loan you are applying for, imagine in the situation where the technology is not in place, you might get approved from all the banks and you get the funds, and the customer might be not a legitimate customer. He might be doing a fraudulent activity. This involves a lot of risk for banks, and this later will be non-performing assets, which is also considered as a default or fraudulent activity. So we are doing system-based uh, risk assessment AML, where we run through the customer's details through all the information and portals we are having as per the guidelines of the RBI. And the KYC operations are being triggered via eKYC. The sources can be PAN and Aadhaar APIs. And later, this is being transferred to auto KYC validation. The system does the validation, and then it does the automatic AML check as well. And then it does all it just not does the process, but also it logs the approvals, the timestamps, the data compliance, everything. And after all the process is done, it triggers the CBS API to disperse the funds, and this in return disperses the funds in real time, and the customer gets notified in every step. Like if you see here, if the credit check is a no, if it doesn't go through, he gets notified. Even if it is yes, once it is processed, it's been notified to the customer. So here is our stakeholders and handoffs. Like we spoke about our stakeholders in the discussion. We have key. These are our key stakeholders. Namely branch manager, credit analyst, risk team, KYC operations, CBS ops system, which is a system we have in place in the proposed solution, and the customer. Let me explain you the roles and the key handoffs. The roles in the existing system, the bank manager is the first contact of person for the loan application, but in the proposed solution, we will be directly interacting with the credit team. Okay, once the manager in the existing process, once the manager get the application, he handoffs the application to the credit team. Now the credit team does eligibility test and also prepares files relevant for the application and sends it through the risk and KYC teams. Risk team does AML check. Like as I mentioned, there might be fraudulent applications, so that's what they do, the AML risk test, and they send it through the system workflow. Next, it goes to the KYC operations team. They identify the customer, who they are, and their the reliability of their identity, and they initiate the disbursement. The operations team does the disbursement of the funds. What exactly they do is they use the eKYC APIs, and they, for their loan disbursement, they do interact with the CBS system. And the big aspect, the big stakeholder, I would say, and it's the sole purpose. It handles the sole purpose of the new system is the CBS Ops system. It handles everything in place. Like, yeah, if there is any issues, the system is the stakeholder which takes responsibilities in place, like logging the application details, like handling the documentation, processing the stage by stage operations and everything, including connecting to APIs and updating the dashboards. So the dashboard we have created is a real-time one. So it's going to update every 60 seconds. So they have real-time, we have a toggle there. So once there is any updates, every 60 seconds the system refreshes with the updated information. So they get to have a real-time information about the application, and the customer is the end recipient of the loan, and he receives the real-time notifications once the system is in place. So I'll give you a quick idea how our dashboard might look like. This is the this really looks very interesting, like when you compare to the old system of paper-based, like
Yes.
going through a lot of files.
Raghav, I'm
Yeah.
sorry to cut you off, but let's halt here to understand if anyone has any specific questions. Because loan performance dashboard that we are going to get into, that's a larger module that we have to discuss, and we have an activity that each one of you have to perform based on this dashboard. But prior to that, let's discuss if anyone has any queries regarding the previous slides that Raghav discussed so far. Any questions on that? Because only when you understand the entire story and then you come to the loan performance dashboard, it makes sense to you. So before we get into details of this, let me ask if anyone has any questions. You can raise your hands. Or
Yeah, Raghav,
yeah.
Shrikala here. I have a question. I
Yes.
noticed that in your assess process, when I compared your assess process and to be process, the to be process, there is no role of branch manager there. So
Yeah.
I'm just curious to know how he will understand the status of any kind of loans getting approved or initiated by the bank. How will he come to know about it?
So let me explain in this way. So when the application has been lodged by the customer, it goes to the branch manager. The only duty he has in this scenario is he just passes through the application to the next department, the credit check. So in the automated system, we don't really have a role like to perform for the bank manager. So we have directly directed the application to the credit team, because all other teams are doing performing some sort of activities. They're checking, they're investigating, but there was no such role for the manager. The manager was kind of customer relationship manager. Like, let's say if someone applies, goes to a bank and applies for a loan, he cannot directly walk to the credit department carrying his files, right? So he has to approach through a system who is the
Mm-hmm.
manager. In the
Mm-hmm.
current proposed system, the customer is not going to the bank with physical documents, so everything is digitalized. So we don't really have a role for a manager to do there. So
Mm-hmm.
mm, we have channeled this process directly to the credit team. Hope I
Okay.
answered your question.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. In that case, then will there be any particular, I mean to ask, like, if any levels of access is provided by the system for future logging by different actors?
Yes, coming to the same point, hope you um, I think I mentioned this, like, what's the sole purpose of this dashboard and this
Yeah.
technology? The purpose is when the employees or the management have not too much to deal with the physical files and looking into each application, what's happening. They have enough time. They focus more on building the customer relationships, making
Okay.
strategies. So they have this dashboard. So this dashboard has the different views. So if you can see the dashboard, the current slide I am showing, it shows data as per the trends in terms of loan defaults, loan approvals, and it also segregates the branch, which branch is performing at what stage. So they have this role-based access. So
Okay.
the higher management has this key data where they can interpret the data and make solutions out of it and create a new strategy where to develop and how to improvise their business.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Raghav.
One more point, as I was mentioning about the role-based access, I would like to remind you that the customer would not be having the same interface. This dashboard is for the bank staff. The customer would be having a different interface. He has very limited access to the internal data, so he will be having information regarding to
No.
only pertaining to his application and his status of the loan.
Okay. I was about, yeah, yes. Thank you so much,
Got it,
Raghav.
got
Yeah.
it. So naturally, he needs to see only his status, right? He doesn't
Yeah.
need to see how many loans are being processed by the bank and all of that.
Yeah.
So this is a very good dashboard that gives the bank management enough data to base their strategic decision making. You know,
Yeah.
so it becomes easy for them to decide which are those loan products which are performing and which are non-performing, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you can go ahead, Raghav, and give us a brief about this dashboard.
Yes, we have different views in this. So every this dashboard is mainly for the management who has the decision authority.
Mhm.
So they can make decisions to improvise their operations. So they can identify where which product is lacking the response from the market, and which has a tremendous response in the market. Uh, and also it identifies the branch level performance and the product wise performance, and it also quantifies the default rates and the approval rates. And let's say if there is a default rates, when you go through the data using the same dashboard, you can also find out what are this different set of reasons for the defaults. Is it because of KYC? Is it because of the uh, Sybil, or is it because of any internal issue? So we have all the data to work upon, like where they can approach with their solution. Also, they can also segregate the loans, like let's say the loans which are long-term in nature, like a home loan or like a business loan. They have a longer tenure and big amount to deal with. So the management has different segregations, like which the personal loans and the bank home loans. They have this set of key attributes, like the loan tenure wise, the loan size amount, so they can make a better judgment of how they are performing, when they are expecting the returns in terms of the bank, and what are the interest rates which are viable in the market. They do this research and amend the same policies as per their needs. Yeah. Any more questions about the dashboard or any key aspects of this banking system? Sajna, would you like to ask any questions if you have so far?
No, no, it's fine for me.
Okay. So I'll move on to the next slide,
Yeah.
which
Just
is
just a minute, Raghav. I was talking
yeah.
on mute.
Okay.
The first one,
Okay. Yeah.
which says total loan versus approved versus declined.
Yeah.
This is for the entire year, I suppose, right?
We have a different views. So in the system, we have say, like I was again and again mentioning about measuring the performance, right? The performance can be measured for a month, for a quarter, for a year, or let's say usually how the banking and the other industries does in the market, they do compare the quarter one of this year 2021 with the quarter performance of 2024 to check the quarterly performance. So we have a different set of views, like quarterly
So that means
comparison, monthly
senior management can select, right? They can
they have this options to select what they want to see.
quarterly view or monthly view. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of this data can also be exported, I believe, right, in PDF format, and if they want.
Yeah. Yes, we have a different formats. It can be, you can download it in the form of document, Word document, PDF, or an image.
Okay. So this will serve very nice for their weekly meetings that they have with the senior management. The
Yes.
loan officers also to present, give them the visibility, and for
Yes.
the senior VPs also to take crucial decisions.
Yeah. So in the existing system, it's paper-based, so they have numbers, the percentage and the numbers. So it's human tendency to miss the numbers, but when it's in the form of pictorial representation, it's very eye-catching, and they can focus more on which one is lacking, and it's pretty evident, like we can see in the dashboard itself, the performance and other aspects.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So Raghav, how many days will it reduce according to this automation process?
So the standard we will be proposing is a 48 hours window, at least a 48 minimum of 48 hours for the loan to disperse, and the maximum would be 72. And like I mentioned, there might be exceptions, like let's say there is any mismatch of documents or any other case scenarios. That's close to nil, I would say, because the system is not implemented as of now. If we encounter such issues, it will be addressed. Otherwise, the processing time has drastically reduced. In the earlier, in the current scenario, we have no such SLAs. The turnaround time is not mentioned because it might take, depending on the loans, uh, depending on the loan type of loan, it might depend, it might go to a week or a month, but now we have it in place at least minimum of 48 to a maximum of 72 hours to process, because everything is being processed by the system.
So this is regarding a personal loan or a home loan or some others loan. This
No, yeah, this is for all the retail loans, personal loan, gold loan, vehicle loan, and home loan, all of them together.
Okay, thank you.
Hi Raghavendra, Sapna
Hi,
here.
Sapna. Yeah, hi.
I want to ask something here, this dashboard should be an interactive dashboard. Suppose I want to see the data of January, total loans, particular month
Okay.
for January. So all
Okay.
visuals will affect for that with that. Like
Can you please repeat your question?
suppose I click on Jan and I want to see the total loans, particular
Okay.
in the month of Jan. and
Okay.
that all the visuals wherever it is related to total loans or new applications. Suppose the default, I want to see how many in January month default by the branch or as per total. It will reflect on all the visuals
Yes.
related to that.
Yeah, I'll walk you through this image over here. If you see, we have a period here. Can you see this? So here we selected a period of 6 months. So when you select a period of 1 month, let's say right now we are in June, if I select the May month, so when I select the period to be just 1 month, I have other key aspects like I can check for the month of May, how many were the applications, how many were the defaults, how many got approved, how many are in the progress, because not every application gets through. Some might be in the in review or some other scenario. So you get all the information for the period of 1 month. So like I mentioned, like I answered to Sajna's question, we have different attributes. Like you can check it by month, by quarter, by half year and yearly, and also you can check it by May of 2025 with the performance of May for 2024 and 23 be later
Okay,
for every year. Yeah,
okay. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Yes, you
Any
can go
more
ahead.
questions? Yeah. So as you see, this dashboard is like very interesting and seems to be very eye-catchy and benefit. It is a beneficial for the management. So as a BA, let me walk you through the requirements, the functional requirements. So I have highlighted the two key functional requirements for this dashboard. One is the first one being the loan trend analysis by status.
Mhm.
Why do you need the trends? I'm just giving an example. Like, why do you need the trends? Because you can interpret how the trend is during a particular period of time. Let's say if I'm reading a trend for a year, so which months are the peak years, peak months, and which months are not so busy months. So this helps in analyzing the data and how to like interpret the customer's behavior. One of the benefit is like, let's say if there is a I'm comparing the data of 2024, the trend analysis, and the trend says the third quarter of the year, the trend was low, like it was declining. So for 2025, the third quarter starting from July, I will introduce more discounts, loan promotions, more marketing on that, because I know that's where something the business is running behind. So I have to match the performance for the rest of the year. So in order to push, I would allocate my marketing funds or give the extra push for those months. So this is one of the advantage to have the trend analysis. So the other one, and also it is a high priority for our dashboard. It includes the counts of approved, declined loans, and default loans. It gives the trends as per the months. Like Sapna asked me a question about if I want to just check the 1 month status. So you also have this loan trend analysis for a month, like for a quarter or a year, depending on how they want to interpret. And also we have the second requirement, which is also a high priority requirement, which is branch level performance. Now, why do I want a branch level performance? So let's say the Swift Bank has 12 branches in the same city. If the dashboard was not in place, the paperwork was in place. So it's really hard to interpret which bank is doing more of which bank is contributing more to the uh, organization and which is lacking behind. So they read using this approach, the branch level approach, they can compare the branches and what are the aspects the one which is lacking behind is missing in, they can push through, and they can, let's say if most of the employees are newly joined and they don't have kind of really good mentorship, they can educate on them, educate them on the marketing, educate them on the loan processing. So this is one of the advantage of having a branch level performance, and also it gives an insight of performance leverages. Mm, yeah, and also likewise, you can also have the which branch has highest default. If there is a branch which is having the really bad default rate, then there is an indication that there is something wrong happening in that branch. If it is happening again and again, if it is a recurring process, they have an system to address the issue. Why the defaults are always high in this branch? What's lacking behind? So they can work on that as well. So I would like to take you through the glossary of the terms. You might have heard me saying again and again different words like KYC, AML, SLA. So the terms are KYC. It means know your customer. It's about the basic information, the photograph, and identity of the customer. AML is anti-money laundering. Like in my example, I mentioned like what if a customer applies to different banks with the fraudulent identity. So AML is the process which gets hold of such activities. And then SLA. SLA is a service level agreement where they have in place a turnaround time once the application has been lodged. What is the expected time? Like what is the average expected time to finish the application? And then RBI is for Reserve Bank of India, which is our central bank for India. And the CBS is a core banking system. The CBS is an existing banking application the bank is using. So the new module would be an updated module in the CBS itself, the banking ops. And the API is the application programming interface. And the CIBIL is the body which does the credit analysis to verify if the applicant has a good credit history, or if he is eligible, or if he is reliable to lend the money. It's a body similar to RBI. Yeah, that's all for today. Thank you so much for everyone.
Thank you so much,
Any
Raghav.
questions? Yeah.
You can stop sharing right now. Let's come to the gallery view. Yes, you can stop sharing, Raghav. Thank you so much, Raghav, for this brilliant presentation. A very good job done. So all the learnings that we had in our capstone project, you have actually implemented it in this case study that I'd offered you, the SwiftBank, loan disbursement process. So each one of you have already seen how he has taken a manual process and worked on the gaps that exist in the manual process. Look, keeping the business goals of the customer in mind, he has very beautifully articulated what areas can be actually digitized and how we can, bring about that automation. So thank you so much for that presentation, Raghav. And from here, I would like to take this case study a little forward, where we will engage in an activity, requirement gathering activity. So many of you might be wondering, the loan performance dashboard that Raghav showed, that dashboard, how can we as business analysts, when we are so new to this particular role, how can we come up with a dashboard like this? Because you might not be from the lending domain, so you don't know what kind of trend will be the senior management will be interested, right? how to compare one loan product with another loan product. Will that comparison make sense? So a lot of questions you will be having in your mind. So the answers to these questions will come from the senior management of the bank itself. Okay, what is the data? So data is the key. Whenever you are visualizing a dashboard for a bank, understand you have to think about the data that the senior management wants to see. Okay, and that data should be strategic data which can be used for decision making. Okay, so it doesn't make sense showing them individual loan applications, right? Your senior, the senior VPs does not do not want to see the data of the individual customers who have applied for loans. They're not interested in that. They want to have a very high level view to understand which are their performing products, which are their non-performing products. What is the trend like? Raghav mentioned a very important point in terms of the trend. When you look at a trend analysis, what it helps you do is whenever you see that, okay, it's between, for example, if it's between June, July, August, that there is a downfall in the loan application. Suppose that's a trend. For example, if that's a trend between June, July, August, when they look at the historical data, they figure out that, then just like Raghav mentioned, the management can start communicating with their marketing team and allocate more funds for marketing, where they can release several discounts, waive offs in a little bit of interest of the loan. They can bring down a little bit of the interest to attract more customers during that particular period, so that that year time period of the year when they last year they had not made much, they can ensure that with the trend analysis, they can ensure that they pump in more funds for marketing and they do more promotion advertisements so that they can spike up sales during that time. Okay, so that's an important aspect of it. So you can just switch on your cameras, guys. Let's do this small activity where based on the dashboard that Raghav has just shown you, let's create some requirement gathering questions which will help us elicit requirements from the customer and which will help us understand how to design this dashboard. Okay, switch on your cameras, please. Let's engage in this activity. Yeah, so let me just give you a brief. Like you have already understood, this loan performance dashboard is going to be used by the senior management of the bank. Okay, and definitely it is going to be used for strategic decision making. Some of the loan elements, for example, some of the loan reports which Raghav just showed you, I'm just typing it in the chat window so that you can refer to it while you're doing this activity. Okay, monthly trend in the total loan applications and the loans approved versus declined, loans approved by product, by different loan products, monthly trend in loan defaults, loan approval count by branch, loan approval amount by branch, top 5 loan default count by branch. So I've written down a list of graphs that you can visualize as business analyst for if you are given the task of creating such a loan performance dashboard. These are a couple of types of graphs, and it can be in the form of a pie chart, or it can be in the form of a bar graph or line graph, whatever. But these are a couple of trend reports that can be beneficial for the senior management. Now, when we talk about these type of graphs, I want you to spend a little time understanding or discussing with the group over here what exactly will be the questions that you will be asking the bank stakeholders in order to understand their requirements for this dashboard. So I've given you a list of dashboards that can be beneficial to the bank. Now, let's say you do not have this list. You have absolutely no idea what kind of reports or what kind of dashboards you can propose. Now you get into a requirement gathering meeting with the customer. You need to ask him some questions because he doesn't know what are you looking for. So I want you to articulate. I'm going to give each one of you 5 minutes of time where you can come up with some very beautiful questions, very good questions that can be asked to the senior management, the senior VPs of the bank, who will actually give you the requirements for this dashboard. Okay. So in the chat window, I have typed in the type of dashboards that was sent as part of their BRD. Okay. The type of dashboards. Now we have to get deeper into these dashboards, right? We can't just go and give this. This is a BR, guys. This is a business requirement, which is high level. We just can't take this business requirement to our technical team and say, "Yeah, it's monthly trend bana do, make this in this particular way." We need to dig deeper into each and every requirement, each and every report, and then that's when we'll collect data from the bank senior management. So think about, let's take the first 2 reports or 3 reports and just articulate some questions that you would like to ask. Okay, let's do 5 minutes for this activity, guys. Start working on it. Yes, you have any questions, any doubts? Then you can ask. And to give people a starting point so that, if you're struggling with the requirement gathering question, for people who are a part of my community, you always know that when you are creating questions, I always say follow the bus formula, where you think about what are the business oriented questions, what are the user action questions, and what can be the system response questions. Okay. So let me give you a starting point. With respect to business, with respect to understanding what are the business needs. First question, who will be the primary users of this dashboard? We need to be very clear about it. Now, we are talking to the senior management, we know, but is the senior management the only people who are going to access the dashboard? Are there other people, managers belonging to different other designations also going to access? Because then they will have their own set of requirements for the dashboard. So we need to know who are the primary users for this particular dashboard. First, very basic question. What else? Anyone?
Like, ma'am, here, applied loans, if they want, senior management want to check with the product wise, either it is related to retail loans or corporate loans, like as MSME. So in particular, that in that area, suppose it is related to retail loans, then for particular housing loan, if they want to check the details, like trend in last month, how much housing loans, like that, product wise.
Question, frame your question. See, if you're telling me, Sapna, if you're telling me what kind of report will be beneficial for them, are you telling me that?
Yes, ma'am.
So see, my question is, the activity is, the list of reports have been sent to us by the management, which is there in the chat window. Okay. Now, we need to get deeper into these requirements. Just by having a list with us, we will not be able to tell our development team what exactly is expected. Right? So we are digging deeper into those requirements. We have the list from the senior management.
Okay.
There can be a question about the variety of products the bank offers at this time in retail segment.
Yes, correct. Definitely. We need to know that. What are the different products that we are talking about? Which loan products are we talking about? So because based on that, we can propose should we have different reports for different loan products, or should we consolidate it together and show the bifurcation of performing and non-performing loans as per the product wise? We can decide that. Another very important question. When I said, who are the primary users of this dashboard? I mentioned this question. Now, the primary users of the dashboard can be the branch manager, can be the credit officer, senior VPs. They will give us the answer to that, not us. So when you ask these questions, you'll get the answers from them. And based like that dashboard that you create should be beneficial for everyone. So you might be talking to one segment of stakeholders over there. Maybe the other segment who is also going to use the dashboard might not be present in the meeting. So if it is they are not present in that particular meeting and their name comes up, it is very vital for you to involve them in the next meeting. Okay, and understand their specific needs. So who are the users we mentioned? What kind of access levels that they need to have? Because sometimes these kind of requirements do not come from the senior management. They don't know these kind of reports can be displayed as per access level. So we need to tell them, we need to educate them that if we can also have, if you're giving us a list of users who will have access to this dashboard, we can have different views for different users. We can do that. We can create. So what a branch manager sees, maybe his one down, he might not be able to see. We can do that. We can do that for you. So do you want these two users to have the exact same view, or do you want them to have different views? So based on their access levels, we can configure that for you. Okay. So these are the insights the senior management will get from your side, because they don't know using technology what is possible and what is not possible. Okay. When you tell them that out of these 4 users that you have suggested, we can have 4 different views for all or 4 of them. Okay. So the behind the scenes, the hardcore dashboard will be the same, but each one will see a from the technical side, they will be just doing a show hide kind of a thing. Hide some of the dashboards if the person belongs to a lower designation. To the higher designation, everything is visible. They will be doing that. So when you get that kind of visibility at the initial level, what happens, it becomes easy for your technical team to configure that in the system.
Ma'am, to get some to create this dashboard, we need some data then to be provided.
Correct. Yeah.
So in that case, how will the bank how will we get data? Who provides us the data?
The data will come from the backend, right, dear?
Okay.
Yeah, the backend database. Now, in this case, it's a manual to automated one that we are taking. So their data is lying in the manual mode. Okay, that which means you would have to do a data entry in the new database of their previous loans. Only then be able to generate these dashboards. So let's say it might be, let's say they have this loan disbursement process. The only thing that they're doing is they are asking you to create a dashboard. Till now, they don't have a dashboard.
Okay.
So if that is the case, then the data is definitely there in the system. So a very good question by Kala, that yes, these dashboards can be built only if there is data in the system. Without data, these dashboards, nothing will come up in the screen.
May I add a point for this? So to implement this dashboard, the bank has to digitalize the historical data, like
Correct.
the previous documents they have in process, and their customers' KYCs has to be digitalized as well. And for the ongoing and the upcoming loans, the module itself integrates digitalization of the documents from the point of contact itself. From the very beginning itself, the entire thing is digitalized, so they have the data in place.
Hmm.
So this data should be in the form of like Excel format or any other file format, like because that has to export in particular system to create these visuals and all.
Uh, may I?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
So data can be of different types. So let's say if it is about the customer's identity Aadhaar photocopy, so it can be in the form of image. The applications can read through the uh, content in the image, and the other data related to the loans and historical data, how many loans were issued, what was the interest rates on the products, and the all other related to the numbers can be in Excel to represent in the pictorial trends, like in the form of pie diagram or a trend analysis. It has to be either Excel or any other database which can be readable
Hmm.
by the system. Yeah, because we have a data like in place in the market. We have a lot of database systems like SQL. SQL can read from not just from Excel, but from other uh, DBMSs, like databases from other sources. Some of them are CSV format of
Yes.
Excel. Yeah.
So to further elaborate on what Raghav has said, Raghav has already answered that question, but to tell you, when you ask your customer what is the format in which the data is currently residing, they will tell you a particular format that might be Excel, or they have it all in the SQL database, whatever. You now, after the meeting, you need to go and check with your technical team that this is what my customer has said. They have the entire data in the Excel sheet or SQL, whatever has been communicated, and they will tell you whether it's feasible for them to generate reports based on that source data. Because if it's an Excel sheet format, they have to first pump it into a database like a SQL database, right? In order to generate this dashboard, they have to export it from the Excel. So if there are any technical nuances, your technical team will guide you accordingly. But it's always important to seek that guidance. Okay.
Okay, I have also one question.
Hmm.
Okay, so looking at the data and trends, the senior VPs will make the decision.
Hmm.
Maybe, so can we have something like that so we can, get some recommendation or maybe some suggestion or future prediction out of those data?
Yeah. So I kind of did not get your question, Sultana.
So for example, if the sales is not being, or maybe the loan has not been up, maybe defaulters are there, some of the loans. So the system can, or maybe the dashboard can suggest some of the, like in the decision making, so that it will eliminate those kind of risk in future.
Yes. Suggestions that can be offered by the system, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, we can definitely. So with respect to creating these dashboards, now your customer might say that, okay, my data resides in Excel format or SQL database, whatever. But we also need to understand what are the key metrics that they use to track the entire loan, the performance of a loan. When I say KPIs, KPIs are nothing but metrics, right? So we need to know what are the metrics the senior management is interested in. Don't show them stuff that they might not be interested in, right? So let's say they don't want to see a bifurcation region-wise. They don't want to. They are just not interested. So don't show them that. So they will tell you exactly the metrics that they would like to, and you have to take a note of that. in terms of the number of loans that were disbursed in a particular month? Is it the average loan ticket size, the recovery percentage, whatever? That can be, they will tell you. So like I always say, when it comes to any screen, data that is captured in the screen or data that is visible. Now in this particular screen, we are not asking the user to enter anything. It's not a form-based view. It's a read-only view, right? But very important is data in both the cases. If it's a form that the user is filling, again, the same question applies that, we need to know what data should be captured from the user. But if it's a read-only screen like this dashboard, again, we need to know what metrics or what data has to be shown in that in those dashboards, so that it's beneficial to the senior management for decision making. Okay, and like Raghav mentioned, this particular dashboard is going to be updated on a real-time basis. Now, the different graphs that you're seeing on the screen, guys, on the mock-up that Raghav just mentioned, the different graphs, you might be wondering, how can we think about whether it's bar graph, line graph? Now, the visualizations also, you can ask your customer what kind of visualizations they are comfortable with. Now bar graph, everybody understands. Pie graph also, everybody understands. Line graph, yes. But there are a lot of such visualizations like the heat maps. In some banks, they prefer more of tabular data. So before you go and do a high fund visualization, always check with the customer what they're comfortable with. Okay. I have worked with some banks where we did such good visualization, and we went there and we showed them the mock-up, and they were like, why is it like this? We just want, tabular data. They show this data in tables. We don't want this. They were not comfortable with that. So then we minimized this graphical representation. We discussed with your senior management and we minimized that. So the senior VPs, we gave them access to graphical representations like this, but the ground level staff, they wanted to see more of tabular data. So we give them access. So again, different views for different access level we set up. So these visualizations, again, have to come. You need to ask the senior management what they're comfortable with. Then as a business analyst, once you get that list from this customer, as a business analyst, you can apply your head to understand which visualization will fit well with what kind of, to show what kind of metrics. For example, Raghav, if you can share that mock-up once again.
Yeah, sure.
With the help of that mock-up, we can see. Yeah. So if you look at the first visualization, what is it showing you? It shows you the new loan application in blue, the loans approved in green, and the loans that were declined in red. Okay. And it is showing you across different months. It is showing, if you see, it's showing you the spike, then it comes down. So a line graph like that can give you a person who's looking at it can see the trend. How many were declined, how many were approved. Look at this bar graph that's next to it, where it is showing the loan default count trend. Now, you see both of them, trend versus trend, but represented in a different way. Now, then we have the loan default count by branch. Branch-wise, what was the default, loan default by branch? So that's indicated over here. And look at that pie chart. Top 5 loan defaults, the loan default count by branch. Top 5. All put it together in a pie chart. So a pie bifurcation gives you the exact location where the default count and the number of the default count. So you can a quick look, a quick glance at that pie chart, and you can make out, okay, which is the location that has the maximum defaults. So your visualization for these dashboards should be in such a way that it makes it very easy for your senior management. One look at that graph and they can make out, okay, so this is something that we have to work on. This is a non-performing product and we need to do something about it. Okay. They don't need to, like I said, they don't need to get into the details of that particular data. A quick representation. Yeah, you can stop sharing. So this analysis and visualization work actually comes from the BA. Okay. So you once you have finished the requirement gathering session with the customer, you go back and discuss, if there are any technical implications, you can discuss with your technical team, and then you start your mock-up design. Also, one good thing that I used to do is once I finished the mock-up design, I used to check with my technical team first before showing it to the customer. I should show it to my technical team, and what it helped me to do is my technical lead gave me a lot of insights, where if they had a problem showing a particular graph in a particular way due to some technical complications, then they could highlight it up front. So what happens is I don't go and pitch it to the client and then fall flat on my face, So before pitching it to the client, I show it to my technical team. They can tell me this kind of a graph is possible, not possible. Then accordingly, I can make changes and then show it finally to the client. So remember, specific tools are used to generate these kind of graphs. Many of you who are a part of our capstone project has also worked on Tableau. Tableau gives you a very good interface to do these kind of dashboards. And if you're working as a BA in the analytics domain, then of course you can use Power BI or Tableau to do these dashboards. Mockups we have always created mockups very simply using either Visio or Visual Paradigm or Balsamic. You can do that. But the actual dashboards you can create using Tableau. Okay. So to some of the students who have done that, the Tableau work with us, I'll be sending in some data for creating these kind of loan dashboards so that you can experiment. So you can go back to that lesson of Tableau that you have access to already. Go back to that lesson where these dashboards are created, and I'll send you the data that you can pump in from the backend to create these kind of representation. That will give you confidence where you can, once you have created, what you can do is once you've created a dashboard which is similar to this, you can also show it when you are being interviewed for jobs. You can also show that this is one visualization which I had myself done, and I have created this dashboard in Tableau. So that gives a better confidence to the interviewer that this is something that you've done. So I'll be sending that backend data so you can work on Tableau and create a dashboard similar to this. Any questions, guys? Yeah.
Ma'am, Power BI or Tableau, one we can use.
Yeah.
Like I have worked on Power BI. That is fine, or both I have to learn?
No. Anyone is fine. And Sapna, you have access to our Tableau module also, by the way.
Okay, where I can find, ma'am, that?
It's there in our business analysis community only. Tableau Launchpad, it is there.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
So even in terms of the tenure, when it comes to the questions, even in terms of the tenure of how they would like to see different views of the dashboard, whether they would like to compare it year to date, month to date, last quarter, so quarterly, monthly, you need to ask it to your customer how they would like. Just don't go with the assumption that all senior management would like to see monthly, quarterly. No, we are not supposed to make assumptions. We are supposed to get it from them. You want a monthly report, quarterly report, you want all of that, annual report, everything together. So just check on that.
And they can like download it or not
Yes,
in
correct.
PDF format
Yes.
or not.
Do you want it in downloadable format? And if you want it in downloadable format, what is a format that you will prefer? PDF format or image format? We need to check that, because all these format kind of answers which they give us, again, we have to take it back to the technical team and ask, okay, can you guys do it in this particular format that they're asking for? Most of the time, PDF format and all is possible. Sometimes you need to check the image format, whether they can do it in image. But PDF, Word and all that kind of exports are very much possible. Yes, any more questions, guys? Any more suggestions on the requirement gathering questions?
Ma'am, I don't know if my question is kind of a suggestion. What I'm saying is kind of a suggestion or a question. It just came in my thought. Like, is it mandatory for any kind of this bank to have showcase their dashboard to the public before they log into the system? Means in the homepage itself
Not for the public. This is not for the public.
Okay. Okay.
Like Raghav already mentioned, right? This is for the bank
For
staff.
Yeah, this is, I'm not speaking from this project perspective. In our real time itself, assuming some bank is kind of upgrading their system and they want to change that entire look and feel also, assuming the front page, the home page. So can we give a suggestion from our side, like only once you log in to the system, then you will have there is a next page will direct you to the reports, all those kind of activities the bank will perform. Other than that, the landing page will have only the login and some visionary statements about the bank. Can we, as a BA, can we give such kind of suggestions to the senior people?
Yes, you can definitely give suggestions.
Yeah. Okay. Because certain websites I have seen, so their reports are open to the public. Even if the public is interested, yes, they can go and see. But is it wise to provide those kind of data publicly? That is what my question is.
So you might be talking about financial statements.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So those are publicly limited companies. So they have investors who have invested in their shares. So they have to make it public that, the turnover of the company and things like that. But I don't think with respect to the loan data, bank exposes that.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah, I got confused, like, is it possible or not? Okay, ma'am.
You're talking about financial statements. That's different altogether.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? Anything else? Any questions that come to your mind?
Like branch level, they can give access, ma'am, according to their role. Like if they are lesser on like post, or they are on big post, suppose assistant manager, branch head. So branch level accessibility will be there. We can ask.
We can ask.
Because Raghavendra sir told about like this is for senior management, but we can ask our doubts also, because branch head also would like to be like see the performance of his branch.
Yes, you can ask what level of access a branch manager should be having. You can ask, definitely. Yeah, Raghavendra, you want to add something?
Yeah, like let's say like we have like I mentioned about the role-based access. So the branch managers does have the access for their own branch, but at the same time, we can restrain them from having access to the other branches.
Yeah.
But the senior management who are sitting on the zonal level or the department head level, they have access to all the other information, regardless of which branch they want to look.
They can see across the branches, right?
Yeah,
Because
across
they're at
the
the zone
region
level.
or yeah.
Yeah. So naturally, branch managers might not have access at the zone level to see all that, how many loan products are performing and all of that. But you definitely should be able to see data with respect to a branch. But we have to seek all that clarity from the stakeholders. What exactly are the reports the branch manager would be interested in seeing? Because that will help him also make certain decisions, right? All of a sudden, what if, suppose, for example, the branch manager does not have access to any reports? What all of a sudden, what if the zone manager just comes and says, has a meeting with him and says that, I've figured out that a lot of loan products in your branch is not performing well, and this guy has absolutely no clue about it, because he doesn't have access to dashboards. So that shouldn't happen. So he shouldn't be caught by surprise. So he will have certain access level. At the zone level, it will be a totally different access level. Yes. So a couple of NFRs you need to also check when it comes to dashboard, exactly to understand whether these dashboards have to be compatible with all type of mobiles. You see when Raghav showed you, the dashboard is so huge, right? Our mobile phones don't have that big screen, right? So we need to ask the senior management that is all the users going to use access it via their laptops, or should it be made mobile friendly as well? So because again, it's a lot of a configuration change for our technical team. It's not that, never think that whatever they build as per the laptop configuration will work in mobile also. Don't think that. You have to tell the technical team they want a mobile friendly version. That means it should work in Android, iPhone. Every device has a different screen configuration, right? So you have to give that list to your technical team. The device compatibility, the browser compatibility. Certain browsers also do not support a certain type of graphs. Yeah, there's a problem you might be looking at a particular dashboard very neatly organized in Chrome. The same dashboard does not appear in Safari. So what if your users are not using Chrome? They are using Safari. So you need to get that list again from your stakeholders. Many times when we capture functional requirements, we miss out on the non-functional ones. But then that I had this, I did this mistake in one of the projects. And my technical team later on had to do a lot of rework because I had no clue that this is going to impact so badly. So I did not check with respect to browser compatibility. So when we did a launch, we did the live for that particular portal, the website looked fab on Chrome. It was looking fabulous on Chrome, and it worked also in Safari. Now there was a set of users that were using Edge. And I was like, who uses Edge? But there was a set of users who used that. And then we had to rework. Our technical team had to rework to configure, because the entire portal looked broken up. It was not working for that set of users. So very important. That point is also very important. Okay. So I think today's session is very, very clear to everyone. If you don't have any questions, we can wrap up for today. Let me just check. Questions. We had one question coming from a YouTube user who said, how do we support data check during go live? I didn't understand this question to answer it actually. How do we support data check during go live? Did you understand this, Raghav?
Is it related to what Raghav was saying, ma'am? Like every 60 seconds, the system refreshes or something like that. Is it related to that? The user is asking. I mean, the viewer is asking.
There's
Or
not
either while giving presentation, that time it should be real, showing the changes.
Yes, definitely. In go live. So if that's your question, Ramchandran, then yes, definitely. During go live, it will be the dashboards will be populated with real-time data. Because it's dynamic data. It's dynamic data. It's not a static data. But the question actually says, how do we support data check during go live? Data check. I didn't understand.
That I think, ma'am, that interactivity only, if we want to see a particular month, so it should be on real-time basis.
Yeah, that's going to happen on a real-time basis only. Because when the data in the backend will change, your trend analysis and everything will change automatically. When you have configured your dashboards to the SQL database that from where the data is coming, it will change. Definitely. So I hope I answered your question, Ramchandra. Okay. So let's wrap up for today, guys. Thank you so much for attending. Next time, next Friday, we'll bring in a new case study from a different domain. And we'll make it, this time we will touch the analysis part of it, the requirement analysis part of it. Today, we spoke about the requirement gathering and how dashboard requirements are captured. And then the next case study will be more focused on the analysis part of it. A deep analysis technique we'll explore. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for attending. Thank you, Raghav, for your presentation.
Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Sachna, for all the knowledge you have given to us. Yeah. Like I would never imagine doing this kind of presentations, swim lanes before I attended your class, but now I'm so confident that I can make pretty good presentations.
You have done a brilliant job, fab job. I was really happy.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
The first version of the PPT itself.
Thank you so much.
I had just sent him the business problem as such, just the case study, the business problem, and he further elaborated it and did the PPT, everything.
Very good job, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
so
Yeah,
much.
thank you, Raghav. This is really great session and I learn a lot. I'm not from banking background, but I have learned a lot from you. And it is a great job you have done. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Thank you, each one of you. Thank you, Sultana, Sapna. Thank you so much, guys. Let's
Thank you, ma'am.
wrap up today's session. Thank you to our YouTube subscribers who have joined us. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.